Hello and welcome to Miss Charlotte Astrology. My name is Miss Charlotte, a full-time working astrologer, and on this channel I analyze the astrological charts of public figures, very often celebrities, and today I'll be analyzing the chart of a Miss Pearl Davis. She is a very controversial YouTuber. She just a few days ago was demonetized. Her YouTube channel was demonetized because of unprofessional behavior that involved children. You can go check that out. But I've been aware of her for quite a while. She's been going viral for the last year. She's called the female Andrew Tate. That's what I've been told. And she has some opinions about feminism and women. And I wanted to just look at her chart just to understand her a bit more and see where she's coming from and check out what might be in store for her, because I feel like this demonetization is just the first rumble. It's the first little like tremor. It's the first warning sign of what is to come. Something's going to happen. But before we get into it, I just want you guys to know that I am partnering up with Trova Trip. I'm holding a retreat in Egypt. It's like a little, is it like a road trip? I suppose so, but it's a little bit more glamorous than that. But we're going to hold this retreat. It's a trip from Cairo to Luxor. And on this trip, we're going to see the Grand Egyptian Museum, the Pyramids of Giza, the Sphinx, of course, the Valley of the Kings where all the mummies are buried. Oh my gosh. And of course, we're going to be taking a cruise on the River Nile. So if any of that appeals to you, please check out the link that I've put here. And yeah, just see if it's right up your alley. Of course, when you're on the trip with me, everyone's getting their chart torn apart. Everyone, brutally. It's gonna be great. And sign up at the absolute latest is January 17th. And of course, when you book, you'll have to pay in full because that is the absolute latest. But ideally, you should sign up by October 8th. So it's up to you if you want to come. It's going to happen. I look forward to meeting you. And also, I have 50% off my recorded readings. Can you please jump on that now? Because I'm going to get rid of this by the end of November. It's going to go. Fill up my schedule now. Do it now. I'm not doing this again. I'm tired. It's a 20-minute recorded reading of me analyzing your chart. There's no meetup. You just book the time in which I complete it, and then it's sent to you within that 24-hour period afterwards. Okay, let's talk about Pearl Davis. So this is her chart. She is a Scorpio Sun and Mercury, and she has a Venus in Libra and Chiron as well. She's got some self-esteem things. And then she's got a moon in Leo. Maybe if she was born a little later, she might have a Virgo moon. But either way, there's a conjunction here with Mars, which says a lot. And the most important thing that I noticed was her South Node, because this is the energy that she's in now. So your South Node is the energy of your previous life. It's like the energy of your previous incarnation. It's the energy that you're most familiar with. And then you bring it into this incarnation at the very early period of your life, if you believe reincarnation, okay? You don't have to. But it is the energy you are familiar with, that you embody quite easily, quite naturally. And it's the energy that you stay in until your Saturn return, where you learn all these lessons and you can evolve past it. Hers is in Aries. Aries is the most masculine sign, which is so funny because she talks about how women should be more cooperative and women should be more feminine. And she doesn't do that because she's stuck in this energy. She's not in a relationship. She's not in any kind of partnership. I don't even know if she has any real friends. The South Node is in a conjunction with Juno. Juno represents marriage. Juno represents it is partnership, but it's not the romantic, it's not that romantic in a sense. It's just more about the commitment. You just have to do it. Juno, also known as Hera in mythology, she is married to Jupiter or Zeus, and she does not have a fun time in that partnership. She stays with him. He cheats on her. He treats her like shit, and she stays. And that's pretty much what Pearly Things talks about, is putting up with it. She is in her Juno energy, even though she's not even a commitment, because Aries is alone, you know. And I say this as an Aries, like Aries is the energy of the individualist. It's not a cooperative energy. Libra is. She's not there yet. She's stuck. She's stuck in her masculine energy, because if she truly embodied all the things she talked about, she first of all wouldn't be saying the shit she's saying, and second of all, she would have a boyfriend, and she doesn't. And she also has Saturn in Aries, so it's a very restrictive early upbringing. I know she was born wealthy. I don't think this is an indicator of poverty. Sometimes it is. I don't know what house this is in. It would tell me a lot more, but it tells me she comes from a very small world. She comes from, even though it's quite wealthy, it's quite restrictive. Like, she grew up in this bubble, and she grew up in a lot of privilege where, you know, she's had the privilege to not be a feminist. She's had the absolute privilege to, you know, have that stance because she's never needed to be. You know, I'm assuming her father, I'm just making the assumption that her father is a really good man who didn't cheat on her mum, and she wasn't abused, and her dad didn't leave her, etc., etc. So of course she isn't a feminist. It makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it doesn't look easy. Like, this is not necessarily the most social energy, and not necessarily because it's in Aries, but because there is this conjunction with Saturn. Like, she's in a masculine energy, and she's a woman. When a woman has an Aries placement, and I know she doesn't have a personal placement, but when a woman is really in her Aries energy, it can be really, really difficult. When a man is in his Aries energy, Aries men go for it. They win. Everybody praises them. A woman who's an Aries, oh, it's so much harder because we're so aggressive. Because we have to fight. And it's funny when people hurt us. Like, it's not easy being a woman and being in that Aries energy. It certainly can't be easy for her, especially since she's not being very nice to people at the moment. So this is where she is, in this restrictive, conservative, Aries, lonely energy, you know. And yeah, do you know here, she's not, I mean, what do you know, the planet that represents marriage and partnership, cooperative energy, it's in the sign of individualism and aggression. So this isn't, it's not, her perception of marriage is just so warped. Let's talk about where she needs to go. So actually we'll zoom out. This is her whole chart. So that was her south node, and this is where she needs to go, her north node. This is the energy she needs to learn to embody more. So her north node's in Libra. She's got to learn how to comb her hair. She's got to learn how to speak softly. She has to learn how to be in a cooperative relationship. And you know what? With her north node in a conjunction with Libra's ruler, Venus, at an exact degree, I believe that she will one day find love. I do believe that she will learn to love herself especially. I don't think she loves herself now, especially with her south node in Aries. She's so far removed from that right now. Like, she's just, I think, really angry and antisocial. And with Chiron, the wounded healer, in the same sign as Venus, they're not in a conjunction, but they are together. She has an insecurity around her physical appearance, around her femininity, and just, it's also a social placement. Like, she's awkward with people. Like, she's not really good with people, and she has to learn to be good with people. And I do believe she can, and I do believe she will if she can learn her lessons. But here's the thing. In order for her to embody this Libra, feminine, goddess, partnership energy, in order for her to learn to be, like, socially intelligent and likable and harmonious, she needs to have that Saturn return, which is 2 years away. Saturn's currently here. It's in Pisces. So the rumbles are here. The warning signs have appeared with the demonetization. And as this Saturn moves closer and closer to her natal Saturn, as she approaches her Saturn return, it's going to get harder and harder. And then when it happens in 2026, I wouldn't be surprised if she has a complete downfall, maybe even a little bit earlier than that. People are going to come out. She will have a very ugly public humiliation. It will be a humiliation ritual, and all the men that she claims to support, they wouldn't even piss on her if she was on fire. And to be honest, if she's going to understand how important feminism is, I think she needs to know what it is to be an abused woman. I think she really needs to understand what it is to be publicly kicked in the street and spat on. Because at this point in time, and I said this earlier, she's only ever had the privilege of not being a feminist. She's never had to lean into feminism in order to gain rights, in order to earn money. Like, she's a fucking YouTuber. She never had a real job before this. She was selling printers, wasn't she? She's never had to work she's never had to work in any kind of like long-term career, you know, like an office job. Or any job for that matter. I don't even know if has she worked at Walmart, because I'm sure those women have a really hard time. The women that work there. She's been living in privilege, and someone needs to teach her a lesson. And when that happens, it will be public, and there will be people cheering on her downfall, because a lot of people don't like her, and not even the men that she claims to support. I don't even think they really like her, because when you support a group of incel degenerates, you know, it's not going to turn out well for you if you're a woman. The incel degenerates are going to feast on your dead body. I mean that completely metaphorically, okay, YouTube? Completely metaphorically. I'm using a lot of metaphors. I do not mean these literally. But she needs to be disgraced, like properly disgraced, humiliated, even maybe have the public turn against her, like her own fan base turn against her. And she will need to have someone help her up when she's in the gutter. She'll need a helping hand. And you know what? I'm going to put it out there. When that does happen, ladies, let's help her up. Let's be kind to her. Let's be kind to her in a way that men have never been. It's only then that she will learn how to love herself, and she will change her ways first, and then she can learn to love herself, and then learn to love others properly, and work in a harmonious partnership with others. She has a pretty good North Node. It's got a nice conjunction. Like, love is her destiny, literally, and she wants it so bad, but she's not going to reach it being here. You should stay in a marriage when a man hits you. That is not it, babe. That is not it. That is not it. She has Lilith in the same sign as her moon, maybe. If she was born a little later, if she has a Virgo moon, I feel like she might be a Virgo moon. Maybe. It's a cusp. I know that out there, the astrologers don't like it. Don't like using the word cusp, okay? But it's very close. Whether or not her moon is in Virgo, this is a moon Mars conjunction. So she's incredibly sensitive, and she has been very volatile. I think that she's also very socially inept. Like Mars, the phallus, right? That is the planetary ruler of the South Node in Aries that I just talked about, right? So when the planetary ruler of the South Node, it has no nice aspects at all, tells me that the masculine energy she's embodying is incredibly awkward. It makes sense that she feels very connected to disenfranchised men, because she's a tomboy. She's straight, right? Apparently. She's a heterosexual female that is in her masculine energy. She's a tomboy. And it's awkward. And so who she identify with? Not with the feminine girls. Not with the girls. She's not a girl's girl. She's identifying with disenfranchised, unfortunate men who don't brush their hair. She doesn't brush her hair. She's going to learn to brush her hair. That's part of her destiny, is to learn how to brush her hair. But yeah, Mars is the ruler of her South Node. Mars, her phallus, her sex drive. That is what Mars represents. It's not nicely aspected by anything. It's in the sign of Virgo, so I think she's incredibly sexual. I think she wants to be, I think she really wants to have sex. Mars in Virgo is the dirtiest Mars it's the dirtiest Mars placement. It's also very critical. Mars in Virgo is incredibly judgmental and critical of others, and it thinks it can fix people and fix the whole world. high anxiety Mars. But yeah, awkwardly aspected. She's just awkward. She's very, very awkward. And that's okay. If you know that about yourself, if you know that you're a nerd and you're awkward and you can live with it and you can embrace it, then you're not awkward anymore. Just be the geek, be the nerd, be a freak, just admit it, just be okay with it, and then she'd be cool. If her moon is in Leo and it occupies the same sign as Lilith, that could be a bit of a toxic relationship with her mother, or a difficult mother, or a mother who might be, she just maybe just doesn't like her mum. I mean, the fact that she's being so mean about women, there has to be something with her mum. There has to be. Why would you be such a bitch? And I say this as someone that has mummy issues. I have been an unpleasant bitch, especially before my Saturn return, so I can empathize. I understand. But yeah, I wish I had her birth time. I wish I did. Let's talk about her being a Scorpio. It's very well connected to her Jupiter. Jupiter trine Scorpio. So it's like a sextile is like a mini trine. It's when you have two planets or two astrological bodies that are about 60 degrees apart. So her Jupiter is in Capricorn, which is an expansive energy of money and business, and then it sextiles the sun, which is creative expression. So obviously what she does is creative expression. I don't necessarily think it's very unique. I think a lot of her stuff is copied from other creators in the manosphere, but you know what, it works for her. So yeah, the sun sextile Jupiter, they're both in money signs, so clearly being outspoken. Her Mercury's here too, so mind and speech, using her mind, using her speech, her opinions, her ego, her self-expression. So the sun and Mercury sextiling Jupiter in an expansive planet in the sign of business. Like, creativity and business go hand in hand for her. That's the thing that makes her money. So yeah, I mean, that's a nice little aspect there. Doesn't necessarily mean she's popular. She's controversial. Like, Scorpios tend to be Scorpio placements. It's like water. It's like frozen water in general. It's like a mirror, right? When people look into water, they see a reflection of themselves, and very often they don't like what they see. And she very much is that. A lot of it is her own fault, because she's clearly been misguided in her stance with a lot of things. But that's why people get angry at her, because she reflects some aspect of them. Because I watched her, I've watched her videos, and I've seen bits where she is vulnerable when she's not going on and on about her uninformed political views. And I do see like an awkward girl who's just a really late bloomer, who really wants to fall in love and really wants to be the it girl and really wants to be the popular girl and really wants to find a guy who's really handsome and can sweep her off her feet, and so she can be in her feminine energy. She really wants that. But unfortunately, with her being in her masculine, that's just not going to happen. Andrew Tate is the type of guy that she would want to be in a relationship with. I think she admires Andrew Tate. I think she finds him very sexually attractive. And he would never ever be with someone like her, and that must hurt. That's why she's doing all this pick-me behavior, and she's on these platforms spouting absolute shit. I told you I was going to tear her up. But I have compassion for her because, I think she's just a bit wounded. I think she's really, really wounded. And, she deserves kindness. I think she deserves to also get her ass kicked, metaphorically. But the whole reason why she's like this is because she hasn't been loved properly. And it's the same reason why we have all these incels out there. They're awkward too. No one's taught them how to love. We live in this internet age where we're talking to screens. Hi, hello. And it's not easy. So, yeah, I'm going to choose to have compassion for her. And we must have compassion for these incels, because if we don't have any compassion, it's going to make us meaner to them. If we're meaner to them, then they're going to go crazy, and they're really, really scary. Like, these incels are scary. Legit, they're scary. I don't want to mess with you guys. Hopefully they don't find this video. Please leave me alone. Like, honestly, I really want the best for you. honestly, I wish everyone could fall in love, and I wish no one to be alone, because if everybody was getting sex and everyone was getting love and everyone, you know, felt beautiful every day and no one was disenfranchised, we wouldn't have extremists. We wouldn't have terrorists. We wouldn't have incels. We wouldn't have femcells either. So yeah, let's just choose love and compassion. Okay. Guys, that is my reading of Pearl Davis. If you have her birth time, I know apparently one of you guys, right? You told me that it costs $25 to get anyone's birth chart. I'm not going to do that, but if you could find me some birth times, man, I'd be so grateful. I'd be so grateful, because I'm not going to do that. Someone else can do that. I have a moral compass. It's a little bit wonky sometimes, but generally I really try to be on the straight and narrow. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate this. I wish Pearl the best. I really hope that she sees the light of day and God, and she will soon, looks like, in the next couple of years. Yeah, and if you're interested in coming to Egypt, please sign up. I'm going to put it below, and yeah, the 50% off recorded readings will be there as well. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.